my thing is uh, overcoming our fears, worries through our prayer. So my thing is overcome our fears, worries through prayer. So how do we overcome our fears, worry through prayer? So here I want to ask you a question that what is your recent fears and worries? So what is your worry? So here, so what is the fear? And some say that fear is an emotional response to the like perceived threats and dangers. Also worry, so some say worry are thoughts, our thoughts that's and talk about the possible problems and or trouble that makes occur in the future. So they that's the definitions of fears and worry. When you look at the fears and worry, it's all came from our perception, our thinking. So sometimes we fear something that does not really scaring us. That's not happening in the real life. We fear something like when we sense the dangers, that's not happening yet, but we fear because our thinking, sir, we are thinking differently. We just thinking that we just believing that will happening. That make us feel more fear. So here, so so here like everybody have like here all the human being, right? We have like emotion, we had emotion. We so that's a part of our human being. So it's not wrong to have emotion. Like, it's not wrong to have fears and worry. But what matters most is like how do we respond? How do we handle that emotion? That's a really matter. So in the Bible, there's a one person who handled his fear. So we will learn from his life. So how he prays or how he handled his fear. So here I bring the our Psalm chapter 27, 1 to the whole chapter, right? I choose the whole chapter, Psalm chapter 27. So in there, David, we can learn how David prays and overcame his fear. Psalm chapter 27, 1 to 3. So first thing that David's response fear is like he puts faith in God's character. First, first thing like he respond to the fear. His response to the fear is he put faith in God's character. So David said, the Lord is my life and my salvation. Whom shall I fear? And the Lord is my strength. The Lord is the strength of my life. Whom shall I be afraid? In verse 2, when the wits against me against me to eat my flesh, they stumble and fall. Truth an army may encamp against me, my heart shall not fear. Truth war may rise against me, in this I will be confident. So David clearly said how he overcame his fear. He said he's not fear. He's not afraid of anybody. So he said he is confident. So where did David's confidence come from? Just let's look at the chapter 1. So David's saying the law is his life. So here we can clearly see like he described God like his guidance. God is his guidance. So in the God's guidance, he is not confusion. He knows where he needs to go. He knows his direction. So here during this time, he's encountered with many his enemy. Maybe he's running away from the King Saul or his son Barcelona. So here probably the King Saul's like he's running away from the King Saul. Here he's in the real dangers. So but he's not fear. Why? He believes that God is his life. Also, like John chapter 8:5, maybe 8:5, Jesus said, "I am the life, or I'm the life of the world. No one shall, if you follow me, no one shall walk in the darkness." It means that Jesus mentioned himself, he is the life. Also here, David put his trust. David believed that God is his life. So we imagine like we are in a totally dark room. So what can we see? No, in a dark room, we might not know where do we go. You know, and in the dark room, we may feel uncertain. We may feel scared. We may feel lonely. So what happened? Like, is someone like turn on the light in the dark room? Someone turn on the lights. What can we see? We can see clearly. We may feel safe, and we will know when to go. We may know the direction. Also, we might feel less lonely. So explain like. So here, David mentions God character. So God character is He's our guide. One of God character is He's our guide. Also, David's experienced that and my salvation. David mentioned that the Lord is my salvation because he experienced that God saved him many times from his enemy. So that's why he knew God. He will protect him. That's why he's not fear. His faith is like rooted in the God character. Also, he said, "The Lord is my strength on my life. Whom shall I be afraid?" So here, David is saying that the Lord is his defense, his protection. Because he found protection in Jesus, he found protection in God. That's so that's why he don't afraid. Even he is surrounded by an army, like even people that make understand about him, he's not afraid because he knew whose God is. So his strength is based on the God's character. He believed that. So in our life, what is our strength? Is that many? Our strength is our many, our knowledge, our status, or our job position. Also, it depends on how much we accomplish in life. Is it based on our skills and talents? So here, David's strength is come from the God. David's strength comes from relationship with God. If our strengths are based on the God, when we feel weak, even when we feel weak, we have like strength to keep going on. So when we don't feel strong on our own, we can rely on the God. So he will. So is so a verse like our strength something that if we depending on the worldly thing, so somehow it might be might be gone sooner or later. But if we if our strengths are like rooted in the God, so our inner courage and stabilities, we will have like God's inner courage and stability depending on the God. Here in verse 2, weeks, like when the weeks came against me, like here like bad people or like someone those people like who want to kill David, so here David say they will stumble and fall. So here when he trusted in the Lord, when we put faith in God's character, we can clearly see that his enemy will stumble and fall. They fail. Their plans are not working. They lose their power. The army may encompass against me. So probably it was King Saul. He's chasing after David. David is run away. He was in the dangers. But David said, "My heart shall not fear." So he's not fear. He also he said that I will be confident. He confident that. That's why his confidence is rooted in not rooted in himself. His confidence in God's protections and God's presence. So here, David trusts in God's character. He knew who, who the God is. So in our lives, so in here it's God, David trusts God. So how normally people now we don't trust the person we don't know, right? So here David knew who God is because he had relationship with Jesus, relationship with God. So do we have relationship with God? Do we really know who God is? Who is our Jesus? If we don't follow through with Jesus, we might not know who Jesus is. In our life, if we don't live with him, we might not know his character. We might not have faith in him. That's why in our life we need to live with him. We need to talk to him. We need to spend time with him. If we don't do like that, we don't have experience. We don't have experience. God is being with us. God is held us during our difficult time. We will never have faith in him. Just only our like we may heard like something like preaching, so we need to trust in him. But in our life we don't live with Jesus. We actually we don't have relationship with him, but we just only have knowledge. We might not know. That's why we need to really like walk in the Jesus Christ. Also, if we walk in the Jesus Christ, we may experience God is helping us. God is guiding us. So here, David's confidence came from relationship with God. His faith rooted in Jesus Christ. So first, here in his prayer, he put his faith in God's characters. So before we pray, we need to remember who God is. We need to put our faith in God's characters. So God's characters is our life, our salvation. He is our strength. He is our defense. He is our protection. So when we are with Him, we don't need to worry about our futures. We don't need to worry about anything. He will show the way. He will protect him. He will provide us. David not only trusts in God's characters, he also seek for God's presence. So here in Psalm chapter 27, 4-8, we can clearly see that David seek the presence of God. Here, David said, one thing I have desire of the Lord, that I will seek, that I may dwell in the house of the Lord all the day of my life. And then when you said, seek my face, my heart said to you, your face, the Lord I receive. Here, David said, one thing I desire of. Here, what David desire? What David seek? What David want here? Even he is in the danger. He's not asking God to protect him. He's not asking God power. He's not asking God to solve his problem. What he desire is love. The love. He said, the love. So what do we desire in our life? He's not asking to solve his problem. We can clearly see that he wants to live in the God presence. He wants to see the God face. So normally in our life, when we pray, we normally ask about the physical things. Like we ask, it's not wrong to asking God to solve our problem, but here David is asking to ask. David is want to stay in the God presence. That's what he desired. Because he knew that if we are in a God presence, so everything we need are in the God. He knew that everything we need are in the God presence. So that's why instead of asking and solving his problem, he he trusts in him and he's seeking the love. That's why he knew that here David said, behold the beauty of the Lord, and to inquire in his temple, for in the times of trouble he shall not hide me in his pavilions, and in the secret place of his tabernacle he shall hide me, he shall set me high upon a rock. David believed that being close to God brings protection. Once things are challenges occurs, he knew that God will shelter him, God will like keep him in a safe place, God will secure his place. That's why in our we may sooner or later we may probably encounter with the challenging hard time. So what do we seek in if we face if we are not happy, if we are living in a problem? So David's response is, David's desire is, he want to with him during that time. He's seeking the love. He want to stay in the God's presence. That's how he feel safe and how he felt satisfied. So when we are looking when we are feeling our needs through the feeling our need through our need, it will not be satisfying, right? Even the thing that make us happy, what we are doing, somehow that thing that makes us happy might not be satisfying all the time, you know. David knew that only God can uh, only like God can bring satisfy satisfaction of our heart, our soul. That's that's the reason he's seeking the law. Not he want to stay, and he want to see the beauties and goodness of God. In God's presence, David knew there is a peace instead of fear. David knew in the presence of God there is a protection instead of dangers. David knew in the presence of God there is a joy, even in a trial. David knew in the presence of God there's a purpose. So when we see God present, we find safety, joy, peace that the world cannot offer. Also, our spiritual growth is started from like seeking the Lord's presence. That's we need to persuade. Actually, what we need is like it's God present. So if we trust who God is, that's all we need. And David said that now my head shall be lifted up avert my enemies all around me. And David trusts that God will lift him avert his enemy. So he chooses to praise God with joy before the victory happens here. And he said, therefore, I will offer sacrifice of joy in his tabernacles. I will sing, yes, I will sing praise to the Lord. So he chooses to praise God with joy, even before the victories happens. Also, we can see that worships and joys are also part of seeking love. We can we when we stay close to Him, we can rejoice even in the middle of the battle, even in the middle of hard time, because we are in His presence. Verse 8 said, seek my face, my heart said to you, your face, love, I receive. Here's God is calling us to see Him, to stay with Him. So how did David respond to that? So David responded with his heart and saying, yes, the Lord, I receive you. So in our life, Jesus is wanted to have relationship with us. Jesus said to see Him. So He wanted to be with us. That's why we need to seek God. We need to find His presence. David David follows God's callings. David's desire to see if the God. That's why. So fear, danger, hard time. So that is our precision. You know. Also, some psychologists say that fear is protected emotion. It's not real threat. So also, God designed here like God designed it to be kept as safe. The protected emotion, right? God designed that emotion to keep us safe. So how is God keeping us safe? David probably knew that when he find when he trusts when he puts faith in the God's character, or when he sees God's presence, he feels safe, he feels joy. Also, fear makes us humble. You know, if we don't fear, it's kind of meaning that we are not humbling ourselves. If we are not worrying about anything, we are trying to fixing our problems, fixing our life without Jesus, without God helping. It's kind of like we are proud of ourselves, showing proud of ourselves. Also, in the other hand, fear makes us humble. Here, second, David is seeking God's presence. And Psalm chapter 27, verses 9 and 14. So here, David said, "Do not hide your face from me. Do not turn your servant away in anger. You have been held. Don't leave me nor forsake me, O God, my salvation. When my father and mother forsake me, then the Lord will take care of me. Teach me your way, O Lord. Lead me in the smooth paths because of my enemy. Do not deliver me to the will of my adversary. False witness has risen against me, and such a breathe out violence. That thing I would have lost heart unless I had believed that I would be the godness of love in the land of living. Wait on the Lord, be of good courage, and he shall strengthen you, and he shall strengthen your heart. Wait, I say, on the Lord. Here, David put faith in the God character. David seeking in the God presence. It seems like his problem is not like not I mean, like, his problem is still exist. Not I don't know. Still exist. His problem is not it's not gone. It still exists. Here David feel like Jesus uh, God is silent. He feel like he felt distant from God. That's why he said, "Don't hide your face from me. Don't turn your servant away in the anger." David's feelings, God is silent, God is distant. Sometimes, just like David, we may feel God is away from us. God isn't answering our prayer. Here David is expressing his loneliness, confusing to the God. David is like begging God not to turn away from him. Also like, you have been held. Don't leave me or forsake me or my salvation. He have experienced that Jesus is helping him. Help him. Now he please God to stay with him, not to like abandon him. Here he said that when my fathers and mother forsake, then the Lord will take care of me. David saying that even his parent, like parent mean his our closest closest people, right? Even our parents are abandoned us. David said, God will always take care of me. Here he feel abandoned, confusing. Sometimes we may encounter like we may face people may disappoint us, people people may reject us, but we need to know God never leave us. God love us with unchanging love and faithful love. Sometimes we may feel God distant from us, just like David. But when we feel distant, when we feel God is distant from us, when we feel God is silent, it's not wrong to express our feeling. It's not wrong to call God what we are feeling inside. Why he feel God distant from him? David said, "Teach me your way, O Lord. Lead me in your way because of my enemy." Here, David asks God to guide him and show him the right way, because like his enemies are waiting him to fail, waiting him to stumble. Also, he went he went right way during the silence. He want to live right, wisely, righteously, so enemy cannot accuse him. So here, David want to find the right way. That's why he's saying, "Teach me your way." Also, maybe he believed that during waiting time, like during this time, he it's, it made him strong. Also, he said, "Don't deliver me to the way of my adversary, for the false witness hath risen against me, and such a breathed out violence, I would have lost her, unless I had believed that I would see the goodness of the Lord in the land of living." Here, David's his enemy like maybe saw King Saul like leaving him wrongly, like King Saul are jealousy him over him, you know. But he doesn't try to fight on his own. He gave it to the God. Because when we look at the story of David and King Saul, you see that David have a chance to kill King Saul, but he he didn't he didn't do that. He didn't kill King Saul because David believed that David believed God have the right will. So when things are challenging, just like David believed, just like David seeking the goodness of love, David is asking the God guidance. David is asking the God's guidance. Here, David prayed and asked God to listen to his cry, to show his mercy, respond to his need. Even though David is confident, he's humble, he knows he needs God's mercy, help, also answer of God in his prayer. In verse 14, David is encouraged to wait on the Lord. Wait, I say, on the Lord. He's saying like this sends the end of the sentence end with the encouragement. So it's that trusting God's timing, also being strong and waiting with patience. Because while we are waiting, waiting is like kind of building our trust and faith. Also, it's enhance our courage. Because waiting during waiting time, maybe it depends on the person. Why why sometimes we may feel silent from the God? Because maybe God wanted to be strong than before. Also, maybe sometimes we are trying our best to fix our challenging, to fix our problem on our own, not relying on Him, not fully trusting on Him. So God wants us to fully trust in Him. So if we are like, I trust God, but even we are trying to solve in our own, just not like that. God wants us to fully submit to Him. Maybe that's why God's are waiting, like to humble our heart in front of God, to bring our problem in front of God. So here, Psalm chapter 29 and 14 said, teach us that depend on God's faithfulness. So when we feel far away from the God, so it's a sign that God's are called to be patient, courage, and hopeful, and trusting His perfect timing. So here, fear is real, but we don't have to control by that fear. We need to overcome that fear with just like David. So David overcame his fear in his prayer. So first David do is he put faith in God's character. Second, he seek God's presence. That he trusts God's timing with courage. So that's how David pray and overcome his fear. That's why we need to know God never abandoned his children. God present is our safety, our hiding place. God present is our strength. Also, we need to know God's timing is perfect. So, as a Christian, we need to pray, trust, and wait. That's how David overcame his fear through prayer.